So, Mansi, welcome to NRI Affairs. We understand that you are one of the stranded Aussies in India. Could you please
Yeah,
share
that's
your
correct.
story with us? When did you go back to India and what are your circumstances?
Sure. So I actually came to India in February 2020, so just last year, and this was just before COVID got out of control. I just come here for some time off, for a month off, basically. And my sister, who lives in Melbourne, she had also come along with me. So we had just come here to see our parents. And then, COVID sort of got out of control and there was a lockdown in India. So it was very hard for us to get on a flight and get back to Australia. And then, because of the lockdown in India, things got even harder. We were not getting tickets. It was impossible for us to even get to the airport. So it was pretty bad. Um, and then just a couple of months after, when India was not in a complete lockdown, Australia had by that time announced a travel ban where they had put a restriction on anybody who was a non citizen or a non PR to enter into Australia. So now at that point, I decided to not go back because obviously I wanted to stay here with my parents, knowing that if I did leave India, I wouldn't be able to come back to them. And we're just two sisters. And my sister had to go back. She has a little child. Her school was to start, so she had to go back. So I decided to stay here with my parents and ensure that they were safe. Now I'm here, and I don't know when Australia will lift the travel ban on at least parents of citizens so that I can at least come back to Australia.
Australia has indicated that it might take another year before the things get started getting normal. So, are you ready to stay in India for that much time, that long? And how will that affect your life?
I mean, do I really have a choice? Like, I think it will take some very solid reasons for a child to walk away from their parents. My parents are over 60. They're retired. I don't have siblings living in India. I don't have the heart to leave my parents here. I mean, they need help sometimes. Like when they were getting vaccinated, I was running around taking them to the doctors, arranging groceries, doing all of it online. I mean, I have to do all that. I have to stay here. I can't leave my parents just stranded in India without any support. So, if Australia does not lift the ban, then I will not be able to get back into the country. I mean, what kind of a child will be happy to leave their parents in such a mess?
And what about your family here in Australia? Where are they and how are they holding up?
So, my sister, my brother in law, and my niece, they live in Melbourne. My sister is really tensed. She's almost, she hasn't slept in a while. She's paranoid. She calls us all the time, checking on my mother and my father and me. The only relief she has is that I'm here with them. Other than that, my husband is in Sydney. He's been very supportive in all of this. He's by himself for the past year and a half, and obviously he's a citizen. He can't leave the country to come here, and his parents are not allowed to go to Australia either. And I'm here ensuring that I'm just here as a support system for the parents. So we don't really have a choice now. If I leave and go back, then I will not be able to come back. I know that. So I think it's a decision that both my husband and I took, and we decided that I stay here while we wait for the government to make some arrangements or relax these travel bans so that our parents could at least get to Australia.
According to Australian rules, parents are not considered immediate family, and therefore your husband's parents cannot travel to Australia.
Yeah, this is a very new theory. I've never heard anybody not consider parents as immediate family. I don't know what kind of people think parents are not immediate family. They're my responsibility. They're aging. They've taken care of me all my life. It's my turn to take care of them, and I'm expected to abandon them heartlessly, come back into Australia and follow rules which are absolutely baseless and human, and then live the rest of my life in guilt. knowing that I could not fulfill my responsibilities towards my parents when they needed me because a government said so. I'm sorry, but I refuse to believe in anything like this. I think that this is just a result of very poor planning. They're not thinking better. It's not just me. I have spoken to a lot of people, and I'm not talking about Indians only. I'm talking about a lot of other immigrants. Their parents are overseas. They're stuck. They're not able to get to them. The children are not able to get to their parents. And what kind of a life are we expected to live? I mean, are we animals or what? At what point did we decide that parents were not immediate family, and who decided that on our behalf?
Mhm.
It is actually really sad that the government has made such rules. I would actually be okay if the government said that we are going to wait for the citizens and PRs to get to the country, and only then we will open it up for parents. Even that is okay, because then I know there is hope. I know that there is a time bound thing that when this part is this process is done, then my parents can then travel to Australia. But unfortunately, they haven't even considered this. They haven't even spoken about it. So I think I'm actually embarrassed and ashamed that there are, as a humanity, that we can actually abandon parents and be okay with that.
What do you think? What could be an immediate solution?
I think first of all, what is happening with the vaccination drive in Australia, I have no idea. Why is it so slow? I have no idea. The whole world is right now rushing into it, but Australia is taking its own sweet time. Why? I have no idea. So that is the first thing. If they're so worried about the infection spreading in the community, they need to start getting people vaccinated. That is the first thing that they need to prioritize. Secondly, I get that there are citizens over here, their jobs, their mortgages, their families are all separated. Yes, they need to be prioritized, but how? There has to be a better priority system. There has to be a better process. People need to be approached. There are people who've listed themselves on DFAT and they're randomly sending emails out and saying, if you get lucky in booking a ticket, then please go ahead. Like, what kind of a process is this? DFAT should be able to prioritize based on the queue. Whoever has come first should then be put on the plane. Or if there is a vulnerable case, they should be put on the plane. So there has to be a better process. They're running flights, but they're canceling them last minute. What is happening? I have no idea. The order is actually out of sync.
Mhm.
So they need to first put an order in place, put a plan in place, let people know when their turns will come, let people know of the schedule of the flights so that people can plan. There are people living interstate, they can't get to a Delhi, Bombay, or international airports just on a drop of a hat. They have to make arrangements. Now, if the government could inform them ahead of time, they can make those arrangements and everybody would know when it is their turn. They can talk to their employers, take time off, they can let their families know there will be a system. But there is no system. The way the Australian government is approaching this is that we don't care. People who are left out are left out. We are going to just fill in the blanks with some little hope here and there, but we do not actually have the intention to bring anybody back. This is how it is coming across. I've heard of people who are dying, Australian citizens who are dying because they were stuck here because they were not taken back on time. Their families getting badly affected. Like, at what point did Australia think that granting citizenship was the only thing they had to do towards the immigrants? Do they have no responsibility towards us?
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, Mansi, and for your time. I hope things get better for you and for everyone around us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.